Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of the One Piece anime episode 735. Now, it's a shame, but I feel like after the fighting stuff and the stuff that should have been good but was really bad is over, the past few chapters, and it looks like the next coming few, are actually going to be pretty good, and they've been pretty good with what the manga gave them to work with. Like, the manga gave this essentially nothing to work with, but I thought it made it into a decently enjoyable episode, same as last week. They really they didn't feel lazy, they just worked well with what they were given. Now again, one of the first things starting out watching this episode that I thought was, man, I do love Hard Knock Days. Yeah, I love Hard Knock Days, but this opening is getting old. We need a new one. Like, we do not get new openings nearly enough, and it is just, I don't know. I like looking forward to a new opening. Like, say for Fairy Tail, they do a new opening every 12 to 15 episodes. That's very good. Like, I'm always looking forward to the next opening, even though I kind of don't always follow Fairy Tail. I'll let it get ahead a bit and then I'll just marathon it. But One Piece needs that because I do get kind of bored of seeing the same opening for nearly 2 years. So, or usually around 1 year for One Piece openings, but it's way too long. Especially as long as we had openings 15 and 17, and they were two of the worst openings in my opinion. So we just need to cycle through them a lot quicker. Now, the recap on this one wasn't really bad in my opinion. It was a little long and it was pretty boring. Nothing really happened that we didn't know of course. Even stuff we knew of, not much happened in the recap. But they weren't really reusing scenes that terribly, especially not during the episode, this episode. And during this episode, there were I think I only caught one noticeable still frame, and it wasn't that bad. It was used for a very short amount of time. Wasn't that bad. The animation in this overall wasn't that bad, especially the Sabo and Burgess stuff. I mean, it wasn't good, but I mean, I hate to say for One Piece it was good, because I've already explained in a previous review why that's not an excuse for something. But for One Piece it was good. For normal anime it was kind of lackluster. But it just didn't seem bad to me. Also, the music in this episode was really nice throughout, I felt. But starting out, we get the Sabo and Burgess stuff. We find out Burgess is hunting devil fruits and whatnot. Sabo kicks his ass, and it looked really nice. The animation was a lot better than the last Sabo versus Burgess thing we got. So that was pretty good. And I'm not even a huge fan of Sabo, but I did think that was really interesting. Another interesting thing, the figure and the top hat and whatever from the manga that a lot of us were trying to guess if it was a man or a woman, because it seemed like it was possibly a woman. That was confirmed. It is a woman. So, yeah. Still no info on who it is or what they do, but it was interesting to sort of see them. And I'm wondering if they're going to play a bigger role, since they were never really shown straight on. We never really saw their face or anything. Now we get the Marines arresting the Don Quixote family. I thought that was really nicely done, and I absolutely loved the Sai and Baby 5 scene. Because really, I love Sai and Baby 5 together. They're two characters I like. I like the two characters together. It was just so cute. I like it. Now, Fujitora is such a badass. He starts the broadcasting it to all the nearby islands, and I think it was pretty obvious to see that he's doing that, because if he didn't get the word out before telling the world government and headquarters like they were asking if he was going to do, but he hadn't contacted them yet, if he hadn't done that, they would have covered it up. They would have said, okay, the world government can't take fault for this. We need to blame it on something. Like how Alabasta was... They said it was saved by, who was it? Said it was saved by Smoker, and they made up this excuse and covered it up. So I like that, I really like that they did it that way with Fujitora, getting the news out the way he did. It just makes Fujitora seem like even more of a boss. Fujitora is such a cool character. And also, when we get our one still frame is when the citizens are asking for Riku to come back and be their king again. That was really good, pretty emotional, but not really that much. You felt it as much as anyone could feel it. But that was where the one still scream was, but it wasn't that big a deal. It was shortly used. And then Elizabello came in, and he was awesome. I really like Elizabello. I really enjoy that character. So I kind of hope we see more of Elizabello, and whenever we get to Reverie or the big King's meeting or something, maybe we can see Riku and even though Riku was saying he wasn't coming back as king, maybe we'll see Riku and Elizabello there some. That'd be really interesting and really cool. And pretty much the end of it. This is going to be a really short review, I'm noticing, because this is all I got. Pretty much what happened next was that the Dogeza, the prostration. But Fujitora comes and he kneels and bows down to King Riku to apologize for the world government fucking this up. Because it's the world government's fault in Fujitora's eyes because they allowed Doflamingo to get away with it. They knew what he was doing. They let him get away with it. And of course we know that personally Fujitora has issue with the entire Shichibukai system. Not just the Shichibukai Doflamingo, but the entire system of allowing pirates to get free reign if they help the government. So I think that was a really interesting, of course it was an interesting choice, and of course seeing the manga I knew all of it was coming, but the anime did very well at translating it into an animated format. But it was really nice. Honestly, there's nothing I can complain about this episode. The animation was good, the music was really good throughout. It wasn't like an amazing episode where a ton happened, but for what they were working with in the storyline, they did what they needed to do. Again, it's just, it wasn't amazing, but it's what it needed to be. Next week looks like it's going to be really good, though. I'm excited to see all the cameos that we could see in the promo. Glad for all that. And I think that with the exception of a couple meh episodes, all the coming episodes I can think of are going to be really, really good. There's just going to be one or two here and there that aren't that great. So in the end, taking into consideration the music, animation, the pacing, which was pretty good, I'm going to give it a 7.5 video transponder snails out of 10. Because, yeah, like, it was just solid. It did well with what it had to work with. It took something where barely anything happened in that manga chapter and made it into an episode I didn't mind watching at all. I was into it. So even though it wasn't great, it was still there. It did what it needed to. I've probably repeated myself a lot, and I'm sorry, I just couldn't really find a lot to say about this episode other than it was just sort of good. It did what it needed to do. It was basic good. So yeah. That's all I've got for this one. Like if you guys did like the video. Comment down there, tell me what you thought of the episode or what you thought of my thoughts. It's okay, definitely, if you didn't like it, because we can always differ in opinion. Subscribe for more One Piece. I cover both the manga and the anime, and of course more Tower of God, The Walking Dead, and a bunch more. So check out the channel and subscribe if you want any of that, I guess. Follow on Twitter. I usually tweet out whenever I upload a video or if anything needs to be pushed back. I thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.